The cobweb cloak of time has dropped between the world and me. The rainbow ships of memory have drifted out to sea. Known to her friends as Pixie, artist Pamela Colman Smith is perhaps most widely recognized for illustrating the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. This deck consists of 78 allegorical paintings, which include religious and mystical iconography. The characters throughout the deck are inspired by some of Smith's real-life companions and colleagues. Pamela Colman Smith was born in London on February 16, 1878. Her parents, Charles Edward Smith and Corinne Colman Smith, were Americans from prominent families from the affluent Brooklyn Heights neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York. Her mother's side of the family included well-known artists and writers, while her father was related to several famous businessmen and politicians, including Cyrus Porter Smith, the mayor of Brooklyn in the mid-19th century. Pamela's radiant, welcoming energy was shaped by her worldly experiences. In a letter to her friend at 24, she writes, "I have been on a good many long voyages, 25 beginning when I was 3 months old. At age 10, her family moved from Manchester to St. Andrew's Parish, Jamaica, where her father worked for the West India Improvement Company. While living in Jamaica, she traveled back and forth to Brooklyn with a Jamaican nurse. The Jamaican folklore she absorbed became a great source of inspiration for her later publications and theatrical performances. In 1893, at the age of 15, Pamela was enrolled in the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn to study art teaching and illustration. There, she attended several classes on composition and design taught by artist Arthur Wesley Dow, whose landscape artwork and teaching style greatly influenced her own art. Dow introduced her to Japanese ukiyo-e prints, which served as further inspiration. Her work at Pratt was featured in Century Magazine's poster exposition, and she was the first student to have an article written about her in Pratt Institute Monthly. Despite receiving praise for her work at Pratt, she was unable to graduate because she had to return to Jamaica to care for her sick mother, who died shortly after Pamela returned. Over the rim of the sea where the sailor sun has set, over the rim of the sea where the fisher casts his net, over the rim of the sea, the white bird's mournful cry, over the rim of the sea, the blue waves roll and sigh. Pamela illustrated her own poems, along with those of other poets. In the spring of 1898, Pamela moved with her father back to New York, where his connections helped launch several projects. The next year, she published books with her illustrations, including Widdicombe Fair, The Golden Vanity, and most notably, Anansi Stories, which encapsulated the folklore she had learned while in Jamaica. A major source of Pamela's eccentricity and creativity was her synesthesia. a phenomenon in which people experience multiple senses at the same time. Some see numbers and letters as having different colors, or taste and smell words, and others see colors when they hear music. Pixie Pamela had a form of synesthesia in which, when she listened to music, she not only saw colors, she visualized vivid, complex images. She used her gift to produce dozens of music pictures while listening to symphonies of Bach, Beethoven, Debussy, along with music from ballets and operas. Debussy was a close friend of hers and described her drawings as his dreams made visible. After the death of her father in 1900, Pamela became actively involved in the Lyceum Theatre Company, where she was brought in by famous actor of the day, Henry Irving. Through her involvement in the theater, she became friends with actress and suffragette Ellen Terry and Bram Stoker, the author of Dracula. Her astounding talent attracted artists, authors, and mystics. In 1901, she became a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a spiritual group who explored magic and the occult, sometimes with a Rosicrucian Christian emphasis. This spiritual environment led her to convert to Roman Catholicism and choose Mary as her confirmation name. Perhaps of greater significance was when Golden Dawn member Arthur Edward Waite commissioned her to create the tarot deck under his direction. She completed the 78 paintings in only 6 months. In a letter to her friend, Pamela notes that the creation of the tarot deck was a big job for very little cash. Once the tarot deck was published in 1909, it became known as the Rider-Waite deck, after Arthur Edward Waite and publisher William Rider. Despite her hard work, her name was excluded. However, on every single card appeared a symbol present throughout all of her artwork, a Japanese-style calligraphy signature of her initials, PCS, which she had developed at the Pratt Institute. In this regard, she maintained the intellectual property of the tarot illustrations. Her next major project was the suffragette movement in England. She worked alongside actress Ellen Terry and Edith Craig, both of whom are featured in the tarot deck. After World War I, she became socially withdrawn and retired to Cornwall. Her house and view of the ocean was similar to her home in Jamaica. She shared her home with a female companion, who some thought to have been her lover. She died on September 18, 1951. By the end of her life, she was penniless and in debt, with no funds to engrave a tombstone at her grave. The lonely path that I would tread at nightfall by the Pixies led. It leadeth to the no-man's land, where plighted linked lovers stand. Lips sealing lips, in silence they give ear to what the heavens say. The evening star to setting sun, the day has half its course to run.